Begin today's story, please remember to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps this channel grow, and it allows me to bring you even more beautiful stories like this one. Anna stood outside the small, worn-down house that cold night, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. She had been thrown out again, this time harder than ever. Wallace, the man who now controlled her life, had pushed her out of the door and shouted at her in anger. He was a ruthless loan shark, feared by many. His voice was like ice when he yelled, and he never cared about how much his words hurt. Tonight, he beat her because she didn't prepare his meal on time. And to make things worse, she was late from her shift as a hospital cleaner. Wallace hated being kept waiting. His boys, the men who followed him everywhere, stood by the door laughing as she fell to the ground. They enjoyed the power he had over her. They enjoyed seeing her break. As the door slammed shut, Anna stood there shivering. Her hands were shaking, not just from the cold, but from the pain and shame burning inside her. She never wanted this life. She never chose it, but she had been forced into this agreement with Wallace because there was no other way to protect her father, and no other way to repay the heavy debt her family owed. They had come over to Detroit from Nigeria years ago, chasing a better life and a brighter future, especially for their only child, Anna. Things were supposed to get better. Her parents had worked so hard to bring her there. Her father got a job as a maintenance technician at an auto factory in Detroit through a close family friend, the job that made it possible for them to move to a small town in Detroit, Michigan. One of those places filled with immigrants and working-class families trying their best to survive. Life was not perfect, but it was steady until everything changed when her mother fell sick. She had been battling end-stage kidney disease, a condition that was painful, dangerous, and extremely expensive to treat. The hospital demanded money for surgery and dialysis, money the family simply didn't have. Her father tried everything. Anna was still in high school then, juggling a part-time job at a small restaurant, earning almost nothing compared to what the hospital bills required. Their church members helped, family friends helped. Even people from her father's job donated what they could. But it still wasn't enough, and in desperation, heartbreaking, painful desperation, her father borrowed money from the one person he never should have, Wallace, a ruthless loan shark known for preying on struggling immigrants who had no one to defend them. They tried. They really tried. But despite all the treatments, surgeries, and prayers, the illness took Anna's mother away. Her death crushed them. The world felt colder, their hope, their strength. Everything seemed to break that day. But the bills remained, and Wallace came to collect. Her father couldn't repay the loan in time. Before they knew it, Wallace was standing in their small apartment, demanding something else, something worse. He pointed at Anna. He picked her the way he picked others who couldn't pay him back. He gave them a time limit, and when they failed, he forced them to work for him. He did it without shame, without mercy, without fear. Anna begged. Her father tried to fight, but Wallace made sure he stayed in control. He took their passports so they couldn't run. Every time her father went to the police, the officers brushed him off like he was a nuisance. Wallace had friends in the right places, people who covered him, protected him, and turned every report against them. Her father was helpless. She saw him cry for the first time in her life, not from weakness, but from the pain of failing to protect his daughter. And then he made the mistake of confronting Wallace again. The mistake that ended with Wallace beating him so badly, Anna thought she would lose him too. So she agreed. She agreed because she couldn't lose her father on top of losing her mother. She agreed because they had no more choices. She agreed because she believed one day, somehow, they would break free. Her father worked like a man carrying the weight of the world, determined to save her one day. And she tried her best to comfort him, telling him that she would endure it, that she would be fine, that what mattered most was that he stayed alive and stayed strong. He was the only family she had left in the world. That was why they put up with Wallace's threats, because there was no one to fight for them, no papers to protect them, and no system willing to help immigrants like them. It was survival, and that was why, after the humiliation and beating Wallace gave her that cold night, Anna didn't want to go home. She didn't want her father to see the marks or break down again. She couldn't take that pain from him, so she forced herself up. She wiped her tears even though more kept falling. She wrapped her arms around herself and walked toward the only place she could breathe without fear, her job, the hospital. She had taken extra shifts, cleaning more rooms than anyone else, staying longer than she should. She even worked small weekend jobs for different families, anything to gather every dollar she could. Every penny mattered. Every hour mattered. She needed to free her father. She needed to free herself. She wasn't living. She was surviving. And that night, going back to work was the only way she knew how to keep herself from falling apart completely. Anna returned to the hospital that night with her heart still shaking from Wallace's anger. The cold air outside had stung her skin, but she forced herself to breathe and focus on work. The hospital had become her only hiding place, the only place where she could pretend she was normal. She tied her apron, picked up her cleaning cart, and walked through the shining halls of Riverstone Medical Center, one of the most respected hospitals in Detroit. Patients called it a prestigious place, but for Anna, it was simply the only ground where she felt safe. She moved quietly from room to room, mopping floors, picking up trays, and making sure each patient felt cared for. Even in her pain, she still smiled at them. It was something she couldn't hide. Her kindness always leaked through. And that was how Dr. Min Seo first noticed her months ago. He had watched how she once chased after him in the hallway, breathless, holding out an envelope he had dropped. "Sir, your money fell," she said gently, offering it back to him. Most cleaners wouldn't bother, but Anna did. Another time, he saw her helping an elderly patient adjust his blanket even though the nurses were busy. And there were moments when she would quietly run small errands for him, like delivering a file to the nurse station, or reminding him a patient's wife was waiting. She did all of it with a soft voice and a shy smile. A girl who carried heavy sadness, but still carried light. Tonight, Dr. Min Seo was the overnight doctor on call, reviewing emergency files with tired eyes. He stood near the nurse's desk with a tablet in his hand when Anna stepped out of a VIP room she had just cleaned. Her head was slightly lowered, and she tried to walk past him quietly, but she bumped into him by accident. Her body flinched. The bruise on her cheek brushed against his arm. "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir," she whispered quickly. He blinked, surprised. "Anna?" "It's okay, Anna," he said calmly. "Look at me." She froze. Her heart raced. "Sir, I'm fine." "It's nothing." He stepped closer, not in a threatening way, but with concern. "This is bad. Who did this to you?" Her lips trembled. "It's really okay. Please, don't worry. I just tripped." He didn't believe her. He had seen this pattern too many times. She always touched up her makeup at odd hours, always avoided bright light, always kept her hair slightly over her face. He lowered his voice. "Come with me. Let me treat it before it gets worse." She wanted to refuse. She opened her mouth to protest again, but his gentle eyes stopped her. They were calm, steady, the kind of eyes that made you feel seen even when you didn't want to be seen. "Please," he said softly. "Just let me help you." Not wanting to draw attention or cause trouble, Anna nodded weakly and followed him into a small treatment room. It was quiet, with only the hum of machines. She sat on the examination chair, staring at her hands. Dr. Min Seo took out clean wipes, antiseptic, and a small ointment. His movements were slow and respectful, never rushing her. "Anna," he began gently, "I've watched you work for months. You're always kind to everyone here. You never complain. But you come in injured too many times." Her chest tightened. She blinked, staring at the wall. "I'm okay, sir. I just have a lot going on." He touched her chin lightly, lifting it just enough to clean the wound. She winced. "I want you to trust me," he said quietly. "If someone is hurting you, you don't have to face it alone." Her throat tightened. Fear rose inside her. Fear of Wallace. Fear of what happened the last time her father tried to report him and lost. So she pulled back a little. "I'm not in danger. It's just life, sir. I'll be fine." He looked at her for a long moment, his eyes soft but firm. "You don't look fine." Silence filled the room. After cleaning the bruise, he paused, thinking. Then he took out his phone. "Here," he said. "Take my number." Anna's eyes widened. "Sir, I don't think. I'm not forcing you," he said gently. "But if you ever feel scared, or if you're hurt again, or even if you just want to talk, call me." "I mean that." Her lips trembled again. No one had spoken to her like that in a long time. No one had cared that deeply. She slowly handed him her old phone with a cracked screen. "Okay," she whispered. He typed his number and saved it. When he gave the phone back to her, his voice softened even more. "You're not alone, Anna. Not anymore." Her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. "Thank you, sir." He smiled gently, not pushing her further. Anytime. Anna stepped out of the room with her heart heavier but also strangely warm. For the first time in years, someone saw her. And someone cared. Anna worked through the rest of the night with a quiet strength that surprised even her. Her cheek still stung where Dr. Min Seo had cleaned the wound, but the tenderness of his voice stayed with her more than the pain. She kept replaying his words in her mind even when she tried not to. When the sun began to rise, the hallways of the hospital softened with morning light. Nurses ended their shifts. Patients stirred, and Anna quietly slipped out through the staff entrance, clutching her small bag close to her chest. As she neared their small apartment building, she paused at the door and took a slow breath. She forced her shoulders straight, wiped her eyes, and practiced a faint smile. She had to look normal. She had to look strong. Her father didn't deserve more worry. She opened the door gently so the hinges wouldn't creak. Inside, the small living room was dim, and her father was asleep on the couch, his hand still holding the Bible he had fallen asleep reading. His face looked older, more tired than she remembered when they first came to Detroit. Hard work and fear had carved lines into him. Anna stood there quietly, watching him breathe. Her heart ached. This man had sacrificed everything, his strength, his pride, his dreams, just to keep their family together. He was her anchor in a life that kept trying to drown her, and every time she looked at him, she wished she could carry all the pain instead, so he wouldn't have to. She turned her eyes to the framed photo of her mother sitting on the small shelf near the TV. Her mother's smile looked bright, hopeful. Anna felt her throat tighten. She wanted to cry in that moment, wanted to fall beside the picture and pour her heart out, but she didn't have the luxury. She didn't want her father waking up to her tears again, so she tiptoed to her room, changed quickly into her morning shift uniform, and stood in front of the mirror. She carefully applied makeup over the bruise. Layer after layer. Soft powder. Light foundation. A touch of blush. Just enough to hide the truth. After preparing breakfast quietly and leaving a small note for him, Anna dashed out for her morning shift at the hospital. By noon, things seemed normal. She cleaned rooms, changed bins, wiped surfaces, and kept busy enough to silence last night's memories. But as the day went on, a cold feeling sank into her chest, the kind of fear that didn't need a reason. The kind of fear she had learned to pay attention to. At exactly 1:13 p.m., her phone vibrated in her pocket. It was a text from Wallace. "My house. 30 minutes. Don't be late, or your father pays." Anna's blood ran cold. She didn't think. She didn't breathe. She just moved. She ran down the hallway, her heart racing so loud she could hear it in her ears. Her hands shook as she grabbed her bag. She whispered a rushed excuse to the nurse on duty and hurried toward the back exit of the building. But what she didn't know was that she had been seen. Dr. Min Seo was in his office, reviewing patient charts while she helped him organize medical disposables and arrange some files. It wasn't a job meant for her, but she always offered a hand, and he never minded her presence. Today, he had casually looked up to ask her to pass him a folder, only to see her already halfway out the door, breathless and pale like something terrible had happened. "Anna?" he called. But she didn't turn back. She just ran. The speed. The fear in her eyes. The way she clutched her phone. Something was very wrong. And for the first time since he met her, Dr. Min Seo felt a sudden worry grip his chest. He set down the file, stood up, and walked swiftly toward the hallway she had disappeared into. Something told him this wasn't normal. Something told him Anna was in trouble. Anna's legs moved faster than her thoughts. She reached the nearest bus stop and boarded the first bus heading toward Wallace's side of the city. She kept her head down the whole ride, her heart beating painfully. Every minute felt like a countdown to disaster. Behind her, unnoticed, Dr. Min Seo had followed. He saw which bus she entered, quickly got into his car, and followed from a distance. He didn't know exactly why he was doing it. All he knew was that the panic on her face was something he couldn't ignore. When Anna got off at a lonely junction near a row of industrial buildings, he parked further behind and watched her hurry through a narrow path that led toward Wallace's house. The place looked dangerous even from far away. Quiet, empty streets, broken fences, and a house that seemed to swallow light. Min Seo's chest tightened with worry. Inside the house, Anna stepped in quietly, trying not to provoke him. But today, Wallace wasn't in the mood to pretend. He stood in the living room, waiting. His boys were there too, leaning on the walls like they had been expecting trouble. "You're late," Wallace growled, stepping forward. "I came as fast as I could," Anna whispered, her hands shaking. He looked her up and down slowly, the anger in his face twisted into something worse than rage. Something hunger-like. Something she had always feared. "I am tired of waiting," he said, his voice low. "Tonight, you stay here. You know what I want." Anna froze. Everything inside her screamed no. She took a step back. I can't do that." Wallace's eyes darkened. He signaled to his boys. "Hold her." 2 men moved toward her, but this time, something inside her snapped. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was exhaustion. Or maybe the moment had simply come, when pain turned into strength. "No!" she shouted, kicking one of the men hard in the leg. He collapsed with a groan. She swung her arm, hitting the other in the chest, then shoved past them with all the strength she had buried inside her. Wallace roared in shock. "Get her, now." Anna burst out of the house. The cold wind slapped her face as she ran. Her breath broke into sharp sobs. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Heavy, angry footsteps. "Grab her!" one of Wallace's boys shouted. But just as they reached the gate, a car screeched to a stop in front of her. The door opened. "Anna, get in." It was Dr. Min Seo. She didn't think. She threw herself into the passenger seat, and he locked the doors just as Wallace's men slammed their fists against the car. "Drive, sir. Please," she cried. He didn't hesitate. The car shot forward, leaving dust and shouting behind. Anna pressed her hands to her chest, trying to steady her breathing. Tears rolled down her cheeks without permission. She looked at him, shaking. I'm sorry," she whispered. "You did the right thing," Min Seo said softly, his eyes still focused on the road. "You're safe now." They drove until the streets became wider and calmer, a quiet part of the city filled with trees and soft sunlight. He finally parked near a small lake, away from noise. He turned to her. "Anna, tell me what is happening." "I can't help you if you don't tell me." She wiped her tears with trembling hands. Her voice cracked. "He wanted me tonight," she whispered. "And I knew this day would come. I knew I couldn't stop him forever." Min Seo's jaw tightened. "He has been hurting you? He owns us," she said weakly. "He owns my father. If I don't go when he calls, he hurts him. He already did before, and now that I've fought back, he will come for my father first." Anna covered her face. "Sir, I'm scared. I don't want to lose my dad. He's all I have left." Min Seo reached for her hand gently, not forcing it, just letting his warmth settle over her shaking fingers. "Anna," he said softly, "listen to me. Your father will be safe. I'm here now. We'll do this the right way." "How?" she whispered. He reached for his phone. "I want you to call your father right now. Tell him to leave work. Text him this address. Tell him not to go home no matter what." Anna hesitated. What if Wallace reaches him first? "He won't," Min Seo said firmly. "I promise you." Something in his tone, steady, controlled, sure, made her believe him. With trembling hands, she dialed her father. "Daddy, please," she whispered. "Don't go home. Go to this address. Please. Just trust me." Her father didn't ask many questions. He heard the fear in her voice. "Okay, my child," he said. "I'm going now." When the call ended, Anna's tears slipped again, but these were different, a mixture of fear and small hope. Min Seo drove her to the address. A beautiful house sat at the end of a quiet street. The kind of house that didn't match the life she knew. Calm, clean, safe. Her father was already there, sitting on the steps, worry etched into his face, until he saw her running toward him. "Anna!" he cried, pulling her into his arms. "I'm okay, Daddy." "I'm okay," she whispered as she held him tightly. Then she looked around, confused. "Sir, who owns this place?" Min Seo stepped forward, his voice calm. "It's my guest house. I keep it for friends and family who need somewhere quiet. You can stay here for now. Both of you." Anna and her father stared at him, stunned. "Sir, this is too much," her father said with emotion shaking his voice. "We can't take advantage of your kindness." "You're not," Min Seo replied softly. "You're safe here. Let me figure out the rest. I'll tell you everything soon, but for now, please rest." Anna felt a warmth spread across her chest. A kind she had forgotten existed. For the first time in years, someone was fighting for them. Unknowingly to Anna and her father, Dr. Han Min Seo was not the simple doctor everyone believed he was. Behind his calm personality and gentle presence, he carried a truth only a small circle of powerful people in the country knew. He was the grandson of Chairman Han Do-kyung, the medical mogul whose name commanded hospitals, pharmaceutical chains, biotech industries, and private medical universities nationwide. A single signature from that family could shake the entire healthcare sector. But Min Seo lived quietly, working the night shift like an ordinary doctor, and no one in the hospital knew his true identity. There had been a rising issue in the hospital: high-level corruption, illegal billing, drug diversion, and unethical practices hidden under polished floors. Chairman Han needed someone he trusted completely to investigate silently without raising suspicion. And his favorite grandson, the one known for his integrity and sharp eyes, was sent undercover. He blended in easily, observing, working, helping, and quietly gathering the truth. After rescuing Anna from Wallace's men and settling her and her father into his private guest house, Min Seo stepped outside for a long moment. He didn't look shaken. He didn't look confused. He simply took out his phone and made a call. Not to the police, not to the hospital, but to a man the entire city respected from a distance, a powerful Don, feared yet indebted to Min Seo. Years ago, the Don's daughter had gone through a life-threatening complication during surgery, and Min Seo, who was only a resident doctor then, had saved her without accepting any payment. The man had promised him that if he ever needed help, even if it meant moving mountains, his word would be enough. So when the call came, the Don listened. Min Seo's voice was calm but firm as he explained, "There's a man named Wallace. He's holding a family captive with debt threats. Pay him off. Warn him properly. Make sure he never goes near them again." The Don didn't ask for much details. "Consider it done, Dr. Han." Within hours, everything shifted. Wallace received his payment, but along with it came a threat that paralyzed him. The Don's men retrieved Anna and her father's passports, visas, and every paper Wallace had stolen to trap them. Everything was delivered directly into Min Seo's hands. The next morning, he returned to the guest house. Anna and her father were sitting quietly, the fear still visible on their faces. He placed a black envelope on the table, his voice soft. "You're free now," he said gently. Anna stared at the envelope, then at him. "Free? All your documents," he explained. "Everything Wallace took. You won't ever see him again." Her father covered his face with his hands as his shoulders shook. "Doctor, how do we thank you?" "You saved our lives." Min Seo shook his head immediately. "I only did what any human should do when they see injustice." Anna watched him, her heart overwhelmed. He didn't know it, but he had become the answer to prayers she had whispered for years. Life finally began to feel real again. Anna went to work with a smile she hadn't used in a long time. She greeted patients warmly, cleaned with a lighter heart, and even her steps carried a soft bounce. It felt strange to be free, but beautiful. She was grateful beyond words, and every time she saw Min Seo, she felt a quiet warmth for him, something gentle, something safe. One evening, while she helped him sort patient files, he looked at her thoughtfully. "What do you want to do with your life now?" he asked quietly. She hesitated, her voice trembling slightly. "I've always loved the medical profession," she whispered. "Since I was young, I used to dream of wearing the white coat of helping people. That's why I took this cleaning job, to remind myself not to give up. My mom always told me I'd make a wonderful medical doctor." He listened carefully, noting the sincerity in her eyes. "What field?" she breathed out. "Surgical nursing, or maybe even becoming a general surgeon someday. I want to save lives. It would make my mom proud." He nodded slowly, something thoughtful dancing in his eyes. "There is this medical scholarship exam coming up soon. Full scholarship, monthly stipend, a guaranteed job after school. I can register you." All you have to do is pass." Her lips parted in shock. "Doctor, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll try," he replied softly, her eyes filled with tears as she nodded. "I'll try. I'll give it everything." From that day on, Min Seo used every free moment to help her. He guided her through biology terminology, explained anatomy in a way that made it easier for her, gave her mock questions, and encouraged her every evening. Sometimes he found her asleep on her books, exhausted, and he would quietly drape a blanket over her shoulders. For the first time in years, Anna had hope. Her father had peace, and Min Seo, who had walked into her life like a gentle storm, became the steady strength pushing her toward her future. Anna wrote the scholarship exam with everything in her. She studied late into the night, prayed quietly in her heart, and remembered every word of encouragement Min Seo had spoken to her. The day of the exam she was shaking, but he placed a gentle hand on her shoulder and said, "Just breathe. You've worked hard. Trust yourself." She walked into the exam hall with his voice in her mind. Hours later, she walked out with a small smile she tried to hide. She knew she had done well, but she didn't want to expect too much. When the results came out weeks later, she sat frozen in front of her phone. She had passed. Not just passed. She was among the best. She had earned the full scholarship. Her father cried that night, holding her hands tightly. "Your mother would be so proud," he whispered. "You've brought light back into this house, my daughter." Life began to change slowly after that. Anna started her studies, and her friendship with Min Seo grew without force. He checked on her often, made sure she ate well, reminded her to rest, and helped her understand difficult medical subjects. He was always around in her life, even in the smallest ways, and she found herself looking forward to every moment with him. One afternoon, he helped her secure a better part-time job at the hospital, working as a healthcare assistant instead of a cleaner. It paid more, gave her dignity, and allowed her enough free time to focus on her studies. Her confidence grew. Her dreams felt real again. But everything shifted the day she accidentally discovered who he truly was. She was in the hospital lounge when she overheard two senior doctors talking, as he was able to finally fish out the bad eggs in his grandfather hospital. They mentioned the chairman's grandson, the undercover heir, the one who had been secretly checking corruption. They called his name. Dr. Han Min Seo. She froze. It felt as if the world tilted a little. All along, that was who he was? She walked away quietly, confusion filling her chest. When she saw him next, she didn't know what to say. He noticed immediately. "You're quiet today," he said softly. She swallowed. I heard something. About who you are." He sighed gently, then nodded. "I wanted to tell you earlier, but it wasn't safe. I needed to finish what I came to do. I disguised myself because I wanted to see things clearly, without people pretending around me. I'm sorry you had to find out this way." She looked down, unsure. "So all this time, you were someone so important." He stepped closer. "Anna, please don't let that change what we share. You've been my friend since the first day I saw you. I don't want you to treat me differently." She lifted her eyes, and something in his gaze calmed her. He wasn't the rich heir the world feared. He was still her Min Seo, the man who helped her when no one else cared. Years passed quickly. Anna studied hard, pushed herself, and grew into a brilliant young woman. She graduated top of her class, making her father beam with pride. The hospital she had worked in offered her a placement immediately, and she became one of their best young medical professionals. Her father often sat at home smiling quietly, feeling fulfilled as he watched his daughter walk the path her mother once dreamed for her. Even after Min Seo left the hospital and returned to his family's medical empire, he never forgot her. He visited often, sent her helpful books, checked on her long shifts, and encouraged her without ever crossing the line. He held back for years, giving her space to grow, to discover herself, to build her own life. But one evening, many years later, he finally felt the time was right. They were standing outside the hospital after her shift, the city lights glowing softly behind them. She looked tired but beautiful, her white coat draped over her arm. "Anna," he said quietly. She looked up at him, waiting. "I've tried for years to keep my feelings in check because I wanted you to focus on your dreams. But I can't hide it anymore. I care about you, not as a friend, but as a man who wants a place in your life." Her heart raced. She had felt the same for so long, but kept it buried, afraid to destroy their friendship. She stepped closer, her voice soft. "I care about you too, more than I ever admitted to myself." He released a breath he had been holding for years. They moved closer. No rush, no fear. Just two grown hearts choosing each other. He cupped her cheek gently, waiting for her to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met softly, a calm, certain kiss that sealed years of quiet affection and unspoken promises. The world around them seemed to pause. It felt right. Mature. Beautiful. And just like that, a new chapter began for them. One filled with love, peace, and a future shaped by everything they had survived together.
And that's the end of our story, besties. Please, if you enjoyed this story, give me a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing story. I still remain your favorite person, Onyinyechi, all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for always watching my story, and bye-bye.